Well, here we are again, part 3 of the Myers Cemetery, located in Townsend, Tennessee, the quieter side of the Smokies. And as a reminder, this is a very historic cemetery, and it was founded in 1795, so it is the oldest burial ground in the Tuckaleechee Cove part of Blount County. So let's get started. Now, as you can see, once again, it's located southeast of Alcoa, Tennessee. And again, we're going to be looking at those people who died before 1920. And of course, also all of our veterans. So here we go. We got Charity Minerva Keir Owenby, 1846 to 1905. And the inscription of her headstone reads that she died as she lived, a Christian. And if I can remember, there was another one that had the same inscription in part 2. I like that. And then we have her husband, John Owenby, 1848 to 1917. And next is William P. Peterson. We don't have any dates for him, but we know that he served as a private in the Captain John Lewis's company of East Tennessee Militia during the War of 1812. Then we have Frederick Paugh, or Puh. I don't even know how you say that, Pug. We have no birth date for him, but he did pass away in 1827. His original headstone is in the background of this picture, as you can see. We found Sidney F. Rowlett. We have no birth date for him. However, according to his death certificate, here you can see in the picture that he died of a gunshot wound in 1915. So we don't know if it was a shootout or if it was unintentional. Next we have Dr. James Henry Russell, 1859 to 1893. Now we have Pernity or Nettie Walters Salts, 1814 to 1901. C.T. Scott, 1826 to 1850. Elizabeth Myers Scott, 1840 to 1890, and her husband, Joseph E. Scott, 1836 to 1910. We actually have another Elizabeth Scott, 1810 to 1837. Then we have Fabia Mars Scott, 1780 to 1866. That's an odd name for me. Phoebia. She was born in Virginia. And her husband, William Scott, 1780 to 1855. Now, get this. They were the third family to settle in the Tuckaleechee Cove area of what would become Blount County, Tennessee. And then William served in Colonel Allison's regiment of East Tennessee Militia in the War of 1812. So there's a little bit of early settlers and their history. We have Rhoda Scott, 1861 to 1896. Elijah R. Shields, 1849 to 1890. And his wife, Rhoda Walker Shields, 1846 to 1918. We have John Smith, 1770 to 1833. Now that's an old one. His headstone inscription reads, "Paid taxes in Tuckaleechee 1800. So he must have been an early settler of the area. I wonder why they would put that on the inscription on a headstone. That's a first for me. And then we have his wife, Winifred Bricky Smith, 1772 to 1836. And she did marry John sometime before 1800 in Virginia. And we know that she was born in Westmoreland County, Virginia. And here is a Mary Polly. I told you that name was popular. Mary Polly Montgomery Snyder, 1777 to 1869, and her husband, Peter Snyder, 1776 to 1867. And we got a picture of them. Look at that. Peter was born in Virginia on July 9th of 1776, just 5 days after the Declaration of Independence was signed. And he was of German descent and was a trader who settled in the Tuckaleechee Cove in 1797. Next is Caroline Law Spence, 1818 to 1842, along with her husband, James Spence, 1812 to 1846. Margaret Elizabeth Sparks Stevenson, 1855 to 1894. Judy Lucinda Coleman Sullivan, 1835 to 1903, with her husband, Patrick John Sullivan, 1830 to 1899. And according to their headstone, Patrick immigrated from Ireland. Now we have Sarah A. Harvison Swaggerty, 1853 to 1905. And if that Swaggerty name doesn't ring a bell, just think of that sausage company, which I think is still in business down there. So that is a common name. We have Anne Catherine Freshour Tipton, 1830 to 1906. And here's a picture of Catherine. We also have her husband, Colonel Jonathan Wade Hampton Tipton, and they called him Hamp, 1822 to 1894. Now, he fought in the Mexican War, and we do have a picture of him. And he actually built this cabin in Cades Cove that's in the Great Smoky Mountain National Park in the 1870s. And then somebody posted on Find a Grave that he fought in the Civil War too, but we don't know which side that he fought on. So this man was, he has some history going on there. We have their son, George Houston Tipton, 1869 to 1912. Sarah Bricky Tipton, 1785 to 1810. Now, bear with me on this name. Thoromuthus Clementine Tipton, 1874 to 1888, and she was the daughter of Anne and Jonathan Tipton that we just talked about. Thoromuthus. I wonder where that came from. It's very, very unusual. We do have a photo of her several years before she passed. Next we have Anna H. Walker, 1843 to 1884. Elizabeth Walker, 1841 to 1886. And Mary Ann Polly Myers Walker, 1824 to 1897. And we found a picture of her. Then we have Benjamin Webb, 1844 to 1896, and Benjamin fought in the Civil War, but we do not know which side. We have Daniel Carson Webb, 1845 to 1916, and he was a veteran of the Civil War. We have Elizabeth A. Yearout Webb, 1826 to 1893. Henry Webb Sr., 1836 to 1912. Henry served in the 15th District Home Guard during the Civil War. We have J.T. Webb, 1872 to 1914. Mary Freshour Webb, 1840 to 1907, and she was the wife of Henry Webb Sr. that we just looked at. Then we have Mary Webb, 1789 to 1864, and her son, Mary B. Webb, 1822 to 1909. Now I'm confused. Okay, so this Mary is M-E-R-R-Y, so it is a man. I'm sorry. So Mary Webb, M-E-R-R-Y, and his son, Mary B. Webb. Okay, I got it. And Mary B. Webb fought in the Civil War. We have Rhoda Electa Bird Webb, 1845 to 1911. Martha J. Williams, 1842 to 1870. And the inscription on her stone reads, "My wife, and she was a tender mother here, and in her life the Lord did fear. We trust our loss will be her gain, and that with Christ she's gone to reign." That's beautiful. Next we have Lewis King Woodby, 1856 to 1900. And they are over 10 people with no pictures of their grave, but we do have their names and dates. We have Thomas Jefferson Freshour, 1837 to 1895, Delilah Caroline McCrowski Law, 1780 to 1860, and she was born in North Carolina. Isaac Morton McCampbell, they called him Doc, 1857 to 1888. Nancy K. Reagan McCampbell, 1828 to 1902. Radford Gatlin R.G. McCarter, 1857 to 1910. Elizabeth Adeline Sawyer Myers, 1848 to 1896, and we know she was born in North Carolina. Then there's Isabella Snyder Stevenson, also known as Annie, 1807 to 1885. Abraham B. Tipton, they called him Uncle Abe, 1832 to 1915. His wife, Susan, known as Susie Myers Tipton, 1833 to 1902. Hetty L. Saltz Walker, 1856 to 1898. And the last marker reads, "Known only to God." It's dedicated to the many fieldstones and headstones that no longer bear a legible name. However, they shall not be forgotten. May they all rest in peace. And this is going to wrap it up for the Myers Cemetery in Blount County. So if you're ever in Townsend, Tennessee, it would be worth your while to go visit this cemetery, walk through it, and remember the history that we talked about. There's a lot of new settlers, or not new settlers, but first settlers there, and just so much history in those grounds. And if you don't mind, hit that like and subscribe button and share notification. That would be awesome if we could just get some more members in here. I know sometimes it can be boring, but to me, if you love history, you love ancestry, this is your channel. So God bless y'all. Take care, and I'll see you next week with a new video. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.